Illinois.
It's time for
the Monday morning
Finish Line.
Woo!
Hi everybody, it's Mike Newman. It's Monday morning Finish Line. It's August 27th, 2018. Thank you to the Downers Grove South girls team for opening up this show today. I don't know if we'll do that again. Nah, we'll do it again. Just when you least expect it, somebody will pop up and introduce the show. It was the pre-weekend to what's going to happen coming up Labor Day weekend, which is the real kickoff of the Illinois cross-country season, where basically almost everybody is in action, so to speak. We'll go over a few things. I want to talk about a few things in general. What great performances did we see this week? Well, let's start with Leanna Sertz, freshman from Rosary. She had a tremendous two meets on Tuesday at Yorkville. If you've ever been to Hoover Forest Preserve, it's a difficult course. It's so, well, not difficult. You're running on 4 different terrains. You start out on grass, then you go to road, like pavement, then you go to dirt trails that have, you know, tree roots and everything else. Not the greatest trails. You go down, you go onto a gravel trail, then you go onto a gravel road, and then you repeat, and then you end on finishing on in the grass field. So you really can't wear spikes on that course. It just doesn't work. And so the course record, I think, was 1750, 1751, something like that. And Chris Muth sent me a message after the meet on Tuesday saying that Sertz is the real deal. And when you run 17:15 on that course, that's amazing. So many great Yorkville girls runners that have run there. 17:15 is fantastic. Now, just Sertz and Emily Eberhardt were running together. Emily had to drop out at 2 miles. She was having trouble with her levels. As you know, she's type 1 diabetic. She'll be okay during the season. Every once in a while she has this early in the year. But you still had, I think Yorkville had their next 3 runners were behind Sertz, and they were within about 7 or 8 seconds of each other. They just have to find a 5th runner. They may get that with Nicole Greyer coming back in the next couple of weeks. But Yorkville's ready to go that way. But Sertz running 17:15. And then she comes back on Saturday at the Aurora City Championships. Runs 18:01. Her coach said, you know, run with the leaders and then, you know, see how you feel and then go after that. Well, she left the lead pack before the first turn, about 600 meters into the race, and she wasn't running that hard. You go back, watch the videos on ilxctf.com, and you can see, you know, that she's just nice motion, nice, not breathing hard, and she runs 18:01. Sarah Schmidt ran 17:15 on that course last year in sectionals, but she was pushed. So we'll see what happens with Sertz. She runs at Sycamore on Tuesday, and then her next real big race, there's the Royal Cadet, the meet at Marmion that she may run in or she may not. Then Peoria Notre Dame, the Richard Spring Invitational, where she's going to run against Hart, she's going to run against Podlish, she's going to run against Isabel Christensen. That's going to be interesting, but we're August 26th, August 27th right now. We're at the end of August, so let's not read into things, but that 17:15 was an eye-opener. We can read into that. Thomas Chagalis, Naperville Central, had a tough weekend the weekend before where he was on a college visit, ran hard on those 2 days while he was at the college rim with some of the team members there. He came back, rested on that Monday, and he came back on Tuesday at a small triangular meet and ran 15 minutes. third fastest time ever on that course, and they've used that course for the West Suburban Gold Meet, and 14:46 is the course record. It's a four lap course, 3/4 of a mile, nice little cross country course, and Chagall's 15 minutes. What can we read into that? He's in good shape. Team-wise, it was 28-28, something like that. Naperville Central won on the sixth runner. It's a dual meet, triangular meet in August. You can't really read into that. I'm going to get to my point a little bit. Jack Roberts from Downers Grove North. Here again, you look at the winning time. He only ran 15:23, but how did he get there in winning the EIEIU showdown at Green Forest Preserve on Wednesday? Went out with his team, trying to keep his team runners together. I liked that. 5:30 at the mile. Starts to pick it up in the second half. I was running to one area. He was 7th place at the time. Get to the point where I was videotaping. He's with Anthony Farmer of Burlington Central, tied for the lead. And then Roberts runs the last mile in 4:48 to finish in 15:23. I doubt he's going to use that same strategy at Levy, where Downers Grove North is going to be on Saturday, or the following week at Peoria, Notre Dame. He goes up against Brady, Tommy Brady. So it'll be interesting to see there. What can we read in from the team? Downers Grove North team won easily. I mean, hard to tell since they went out tempoed the first half of the race and went after it. But we'll find more out about the team in the invites going. We will have a very good idea of what their team is like by Naperville twilight. And Matt Moravec, welcome back. He looked pretty good. 15:39, so ran the last 2 miles in about, or the last 2 miles in about 10:04, 10:05. It's a good way to start. He's going to be strong at the end of the year. The meets on Saturday. What did we learn from the SIU Edwardsville course? Well, we didn't learn anything from that race because it's a hilly course and it's in the St. Louis metro area and it was hot and humid in August. That's normal. Lydia Roller wins the race for the second year in a row. 1958, she ran 1953 last year. But considering the conditions and considering how tough that course is, that's one of the toughest courses in the state. El Paso Gridley is the toughest course in the state, I'll tell you that right now. So Roller winning by 55 seconds over Brenna Chandler of Freeburg, impressive. Muscuda won the team battles, boys and girls. On the boys' side, 3 of the 4 top teams were 2A schools, small 2A schools, to let you know. Freeburg, number 3 in the state on the boys' side. They didn't have one of their top 5, Blake Hatter, but they have a solid 4 right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that develops. Granite City, they run at Granite City next week. On the girls' side, Freeburg, pretty good. Missing their number 2 runner, Reagan Lucas, who will be running next week. So we'll see. It's developing nicely. And we had mentioned in the previews at the beginning of the year how 1A boys is going to be wide open. So let's go look at the St. Thomas More Sabercorn run, and Nostradamus strikes again. Clifton Central. Good team, ranked 8th or 9th, I think I ranked them at the beginning of the year. They surprised Monticello. Now, I haven't looked at the results deeply, but you had Garrett Dixon up there. You had Luke Sokolowski in there for Monticello, and they were still second by about 20 points behind Clifton Central. Anything's going to happen. Urbana University was back there. It's August. That's the theme. It's August. You're gonna find out some things. You're gonna see, well, our pack is closer than I thought this early in the year. You don't worry about times. Example. Go back to the Downers Grove South meet. Oswego, Isabel Christensen runs 17:50, I want to say. Good time in that course. Good time this early in the year, considering she ran 17:26 at Detweiler at Dark. But let's take into consideration they're running hard workouts beforehand. You don't rest before a dual meet. Well, Shogalis did because he had a hard Saturday and Sunday running, travels back to Naperville, and then he knows he's racing on Tuesday, light day on Monday. But Christensen has been working her tail off, and she runs that time. Oswego, if you look at Oswego last year, they had two front runners. Christensen was injured most of the year, and you had Grace Pagone. And they were a nice 1-2 pack up in the front. And then they had a gap, and then they're 3, 4, 5. Well, they basically have everybody returning, and so you're going to have Christensen up there, and they had a nice solid pack. You can tell, Coach Simon can tell where that pack is and where the starting point is, and now moving the pack up. It wasn't a tempo run. They were running a good pace. The same thing with Downers Grove South. You have one thing that I noticed, they're going to be deeper this year than last year. They were running a 5-second, 6-second split at state. They were a 53-second split on 5, or maybe less than that, a little bit less than that, last Tuesday. So what do you find out? Well, they have more depth. They have freshmen in there. You'll get that pack together. You know, August, what are you going to read from that? Was it a rust buster? Was it this? Was it that? Let's not read into things. I'm over analytic, but I start to look at, well, how's their pack running right now? How will it be running in a couple of weeks? And you look into those little things like that. And so when Downers Grove North next week runs at Fenton, or Downers Grove South, excuse me, runs at Fenton, and then they run at First to the Finish. And that'll be interesting between Downers South and Naperville North and Yorkville. What will it say at the beginning of September? It'll say who the best team is at this point. But we kind of know in 3A it's going to be a battle all the way through. So, yeah, I heard things when I was at Aurora, like, oh, geez, this team wasn't running this fast. You know, don't be a Nimrod and try to guess, oh, they were running a tempo run and all that. Ask the coach. Ask nicely to the coach. But you're not going to discover much. We discovered, going back to Leanna Sertz, discovered she's a good runner. 17, 15, 18 minutes. I want to see what she runs in a race with more people in there. Peoria, Notre Dame. You know, she wasn't challenged at Aurora. It was, 30-second lead at a mile and a half, 60 seconds past 2 miles. And she won fairly easy, and she wasn't really pushing herself. So when she has to push herself at Richard Spring, then we're going to see what kind of a runner she is. But I know she's talented. I mean, she ran 5:04 in 7th, 8th grade. She's a club soccer person. What else? Oh, yeah, Normal West. Manuka sweeps. They didn't have one of their top 5 runners on the boys' side. Mark Damus had 102 temperature, something like that, so he didn't run. Manuka, everybody's writing Manuka off at the beginning of the year, or beginning of this year. They're going to be good. I'm Nostradamus again. I'm just telling you. They have some freshmen that are ready to come up. Now, what happens if they don't adapt to varsity running? But I can't remember the one runner who won the open race at Manuka, 2-mile open race, runs 11:58, runs a faster time by 10 seconds than Emily Shelton did when she was a freshman, all-stater, runs 16:33 at Detweiler last year. So Minooka's going to add those freshmen. I don't know when they're going to add them, but they could be a pretty good team. I had them 9th at the beginning of the year. I didn't put the freshmen in those rankings, so we'll see. Vivian Van Eck won easily, 1809. Jared Kreese of Lincoln Way Central wins easy, 1511. What can we say about that? Minooka's freshmen are for real, and we'll get some more ideas this week. Shout out to Mark Lemke of Jacobs High School, wins the McHenry County Championship, runs in the shadows of Zach Albrecht, who is injured right now. Little injury, little minor injury. He would have been running in any other race if it was in October State Series with the injury, but why do it in August? So that's the theme today. That's the name of the show. Why in August? What do we have in store for this week? Jeez. Good week ahead, folks. The first weekend of the season on Saturday. Well, you go with Hornet Red Devil at Catherine Legge on Saturday. You have Caitlin Hart making her debut, most likely. You have Hinsdale Central. You have Glenbard West on the girls' side. You have Wheaton Morinville South. Who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to run some of their top sophomores down? Or are they going to run them up on varsity? Better run them on varsity, Harvey. Jeez. You know what they can do on the lower level. You know what they did last year on the upper level. Let's just make it interesting. You also have another thing. Marianne Mijas and Ava Pavish. I'll get the name right eventually, and we're going to be saying her name a lot, from Lanton School. Lanton School will be there. And they may run on the sophomore level. I hope not. Let's see them on varsity. Let's see how they do. But we're going to get to see them on varsity a lot. Pavish ran 11:45. Yeah, 11:45 for 2 miles at Elmwood Park. Pretty good time on that course. I think it was a course record, too. And Mijas was back at 12:18. Hey, a team to watch in 1A. They're going to move up considerably once they start running some bigger meets. IC Catholic Prep. They have a few freshmen that are coming in. They have Frankie Valdez, who was 3rd in state last year. And those two, one of the freshmen, Kennedy Calcagno, beat Frankie Chaidez last Wednesday. And the other runner, Manchester, McAllister, Hassan Peffer, I don't remember. She was close to Chaidez too. So they find a 4th, 5th runner. They may be in the hunt. So we have Hinsdale. And we're going back to that on the boys' side. We have Neuqua Valley. We have the top-ranked team in the state, Wheaton Morinville South. Just Hinsdale Central. Want to see how good they are this early in the year, what their pack looks like. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Other meets, you have Lake County this Wednesday. Mundelein makes their debut there. Where else? Granite City, downstate. Chatham-Glenwood, the #1 team in 2A, will be in competition there against Granite City and Edwardsville. Granite City, Andrew O'Keefe, favorite there. Fenton, you have Glenbard West, #2 in the state. I'm going to go watch Glenbard run against York on Tuesday. Dual meet. What are we going to find out there? It's August. But Glenbard West, Fenton, at Fenton with Hersey, interesting there. Girls Race Downers Grove South should be the prohibitive favorite there. Lyons Township, jeez. You have pretty good Lyons Township team. You have Sandburg, who won pretty easily in the SWSC pre meet. They're going to be a good team. Nice pack early on. The Maine South, Tommy Brady. I think Lincoln Way Central's there, Jared Kreese. So, on the girls' side, Lyons Township girls team will be going up against a few of those teams from Indiana, Lowell, I think, and Chesterton are going to be there. Lyons Township coming off of a third-place finish last year. We'll see if Barcelona is running. And there's a lot of other meets that are coming up this week. Sycamore on Tuesday, we talked about that. Rockford Christian is running there for the first time, so we'll see how they do there, and that's about it. So I didn't blab that long, did I? No, a lot of things going on. We'll have a few surprises on ILXCTF this week. Just keep an eye on that later in the week. I wrote something on Friday, basically inspired from the fact that I had a lot of people asking me, how long does it take to write your cross-country preview? 6 teams, there's 6 classifications this year, about 100,000 words. But not a word was wasted, let me put it that way. You don't want to blab and blab, or you don't want to do a cut and paste piece where you're just putting coaches' comments in there. You use those pieces to explain why you're thinking this way. It's an old argument thing, it's an old speech thing that I learned in college, an old persuasive writing thing that I learned in college and beyond. So it's called The Process of the Preview. You can find it on ilxctf.com, and it's a nice little read. It was fun to write. I've never thought of how I do it. I just go ahead and do it. And so, in any case, big week ahead, a hot week ahead. It's still summer in Illinois. I mean, right now, 91, 92 degrees, high humidities. Maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday, this ends, and then we go into the 80s going into next weekend. So hopefully we get some good weather for the weekend. It was pretty good weather last weekend. I know mid-70s at Aurora when we ran. So we'll see. Just the start of a great season here in Illinois. So till the next time that we talk, or I see you, or we meet, it's Mike Newman from Monday Morning Finish Line. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.